Hello. All right, so we are starting our third week of weekly challenges in about 5 minutes. So in the meantime, please have your pencil, paper, and perhaps your all-in-one guide ready. Okay, today we will be looking at time and calendar problems. So if you're already sitting in front of the screen, okay, you can spend some time to remind yourself what are the 7 days of the week, right? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Okay, and what are the 12 months of the year? Okay, and each month, how many days are there? Okay, these are some of the questions that you can brush up on, okay, before we start our lesson today. All right, we have 3 more minutes, so just sit tight and yeah, let's get ready for later. All right, we have around 2 more minutes left before we start our weekly drills today. So, yeah, just take some time. Remember to have your all in one guide with you. All right, we have around 1 minute left. Okay, so yeah, just let's wait for a little more and then we can just get started. Okay, yeah. Thanks for your Chinese New Year wishes. Yeah, hopefully everyone had a very fruitful and restful Chinese New Year break as well. Okay, hopefully you had a lot of ang pao money. Okay, so yeah, now that we are back from our Chinese New Year break, it's time for a new round of learning with me, Teacher Yong Lam, okay, on some P2 SASMO commonly tested topics, okay? And yeah, we are almost there. Okay, we will start at 5:15. All right, so it's already 5:15. So let's get started with our lesson. All right, so once again, we are back here to talk about our third weekly topic, which is time and calendar problems. So before I proceed with all the knowledge input, let's take a look at how these sort of problems have appeared in past year SASMO papers. So for time, you notice that usually it's revolving around three things, okay? Starting time, ending time, duration, okay? And I'm going to introduce to you a very powerful tool later, okay, to attack these kind of problems. When it comes to calendar problems, usually you need to pay attention to what are the days in a week, what are the days in a month, etc. Which month have how many days, okay, and after how many days later, what is the, day of the week now. Okay, so as you can see over here, it's always relating the different days in a month or in a week, right? So with that, let's take a look at our first part, which is on time problems. Okay, so this is not in your book. Okay, so let's take a look. So there are how many minutes in 1 hour? Everyone, you should have known this already. How many minutes are there in an hour? There are 60 minutes in an hour, right? There are 60 minutes in an hour. And how many hours are there in a day? Right, there are 24 hours in a day. That's right. So with that, let's take a look at this little timeline below. How do we label the different points of time, okay, in a single day? So the very start of a day, can you guess when is it? Is it the morning or is it the night? Well, it's not the morning actually, it's the midnight. Okay, the start of a day is at the midnight. And do you think midnight is 12 a.m. or 12 p.m.? Okay, which one is correct? Is it 12 a.m. or 12 p.m. for midnight? All right, so hey, 12 p.m. is for something else, okay? Midnight is actually 12 a.m. Okay, so at the midnight, 12 a.m., you guys should be still sleeping. Okay, and then when you wake up, it's going to be in the morning. And in the morning, is it 7 a.m. or 7 p.m.? Hey, you guys wake up every day, right? You all should know. It is 7 a.m., right? Okay, and then after that, y'all reach noon time. So maybe it's time to have lunch or something like that. So noon, is it 12 a.m. or is it 12 p.m.? Right, 12 a.m. is already for midnight. So naturally, noon, it should be something else. It is 12 p.m. Okay, pay attention. Noon is 12 p.m. Okay, and then let's take a look at afternoon. Okay, in the afternoon, all right, you might have lunch. Yeah, so what time do you have lunch at? Is it 1:30 a.m. or 1:30 p.m.? Right, this time we're talking about lunchtime. If you're having lunch at 1:30, it should be 1:30 p.m. Okay, and then in the evening you have dinner. Do you have dinner at 6:30 a.m. or 6:30 p.m.? Okay, again, it's 6:30 p.m. All right, and then at night you go to sleep, right? Hopefully you had enough sleep. Is it at 10 a.m. or 10 p.m.? Yeah, you go to sleep at 10 p.m. And then finally, we reach midnight. And again, is midnight at 12 a.m. or 12 p.m.? That's right, it is 12 a.m. Okay, 12 a.m. So the thing is, now that we arrive at another 12 a.m., this is actually the midnight of the next day. So as soon as the clock strikes midnight, we move on to the next day already. So we start the next day immediately. Now, what do you notice here is sometimes we use AM, sometimes we use PM to express my time. So what is the boundary between my AM and PM? It is in my noon time, right? Before noon, we use AM to show our time. After noon, we will use PM. So from AM, if it passes through 12 PM, it will go to PM instead, okay? Before noon, AM, then after it strikes noon, we use PM directly or immediately. So with that, here are the basic notions of time expression. And with that, let's take a look at a very classic problem. Now, this is not in your all-in-one guide, not in your book. So maybe just pay attention to the screen here, all right? So we are going to take a look at this question about duration. So Derek started playing computer games at 11:45 a.m. This is my started time, okay? And he stopped at 2:30 p.m. Okay, and if you're wondering, hey, I don't need to take break one, right? No, he actually took a lunch break from 1:20 p.m. to 1:55 p.m. So during lunch, he just moves away from the computer and stops for a walk and then come back. So how long did he play computer games for? We want to express the answer in hours and in minutes, okay? So actually, when did Derek play the computer games? Is it all the way from the start to the end? No, there's a break time from 1:20 to 1:55. So actually, Derek played the computer games from 11:45 a.m., okay, to 1:20 p.m. first. Okay, and then he played from 1:55 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. because from 1:20 to 1:55 there was a break. Okay, so he stopped at 2:30 p.m. So we at 1:55 to 2:30. So with that, how should we solve these sort of questions to find the duration? Now, my tip here is to use a timeline. So like what I did just now, we just draw a straight line, okay? And then on the straight line, we label what is the starting time and the ending time. So since Derek played for 2 durations, we will need to label 2 timelines. Okay, so let's start off from the first timeline. He started at 11:45 a.m. Okay, and then ended at 1:20 p.m. just before the break. So we label the start time and the end time first, and then these are the steps that we use to complete the timeline. Okay, we want to find out the duration for each timeline. First, from the starting point, we add the minutes to go to the nearest o'clock. So from 11:45 a.m., what is the next full o'clock you can get? Is it 11 o'clock? No, it's 12 o'clock. So 12 o'clock. And this time it's 12 p.m. because we arrive at noon. Now, how many minutes is it from 11:45 to 12? So you know 1 hour has 60 minutes. You can just take 60 minus 45. So 60 minus 45 will give me 15 minutes. Right, 15 minutes. So first, we move on to the nearest o'clock. That is already 15 minutes. Next, we add on hour by hour. So from 12 p.m., I can actually move on to 1 p.m., right? And I haven't reached my ending time. Can I go to 2 p.m.? Cannot, right? I can't because I end this part of the duration at 1:20 p.m. So the most I can go is 1 p.m. And from 12 p.m. to 1 p.m., that is 1 hour. Okay? And then finally, from 1 p.m. to 1:20 p.m., we just add the minutes to reach the ending time. Of course, 1 p.m. to 1:20, 20 minutes have passed. Okay, so up till now, how many minutes have we used? Or rather, how many hours, how many minutes? We had 1 hour, 15 plus 20. 15 plus 20 is 35. So up till now, we used 1 hour and 35 minutes. But is that all? No, that's not all. Because after the lunch break, Derek continued to play computer games, right? And when did he play them for? So he started at 1:55 and ended at 2:30. So we are going to use another timeline. Okay, this time label the starting point from 1:55 p.m. Okay, to 2:30 p.m. That is my ending time. Okay, so as usual, we are going to follow the steps on the right to find out the time needed or the duration for this particular part. So from 1:55, let's move to the nearest o'clock first. So after 1:55, what is the nearest o'clock that I see? That will be 2 p.m., right? From 1:55 to 2 p.m. That is how many minutes? How many minutes have passed? Yes, that's 60 minus 55, giving me 5 minutes, right? So 5 minutes would have passed. Then we add hour by hour. But can I add another hour to this 2 p.m. here? Cannot, because then we will reach beyond 2:30 p.m. already. So we just move on from 2 p.m. to 2:30 p.m. That will be 30 minutes, right? So this part, the second part, after the lunch break, it will be 5 minutes plus 30 minutes. And what is 5 plus 30? That's right, it's 35 minutes. So 1 hour, 35 minutes plus 35 minutes. Okay, so the first duration is 1 hour and 35 minutes. Second duration is 35 minutes. What is the total duration? Remember, when we do hours and minutes, the addition, make sure to do hour plus hour, minute plus minute. Okay, so let's start off with the hours first. We have how many hours here? 1 hour. That's right, and no more hours at the back. But then minutes, how many minutes are there? There are 35 plus 35, which is 70 minutes. Now, can I just say my answer is 1 hour and 70 minutes? Cannot. Don't. You know why? Because 70 minutes, is it more than an hour or less than an hour? Just now we said an hour has 60 minutes. When I have 70 minutes, then I will need to convert 70 minutes to further hours and minutes. So we know 70 minutes can be written as 60 minutes plus 10 minutes, right? So this 60 minutes, I can turn it to another hour. So other than the 1 hour that I have, I can convert 70 minutes to another hour. So now I have 2 hours. Right, 2 hours, and how many minutes are left? 10 minutes are left, right? Because 70, I take out 60 to form an hour, and then I will have 10 remaining minutes. So there are 2 hours and 10 minutes as my total duration. So I can write down my answer on top. All right. So when it comes to duration related questions, make sure to use your timeline. Okay. Label your starting and ending time. Okay. And then we make sure to move on to the nearest of clock first. Then it would be easier for you to add hour by hour. Keep on adding hours until you reach almost the ending time. And then you just add a few more minutes to reach your ending time. Okay, so that is on time problems. Usually it will involve finding a duration like that. So use your timeline wisely. All right, so yeah, don't forget to change hours to minutes or minutes to hours depending on the question's requirement. Okay, and that is for duration finding. Now, let's move on to perhaps a greater highlight in P2 SASMO. Okay, they test more on calendar problems instead. So here, let's start off with a little baby question. All right, how many days are there in 1 week? There are 7 days in 1 week. Okay, hopefully you are very clear about that. Okay, so for that, let's take a look at how this may manifest as a question. So sometimes the question may ask you to go forward in time. So for example, if I start from Monday, what is the next day? The next day will be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But sometimes the question will ask you to list backwards. So for example, let's say I start from Thursday, right? What is the day before Thursday? The day before Thursday is no longer Friday, it will be Wednesday. So we go backward. Thursday, then before that is Wednesday, before that is Tuesday, Monday, then before Monday is a Sunday, right? Sunday, Saturday, Friday. Okay, so depending on what the question wants, you need to be very careful, okay, whether you are going forward or going backward. So this is why you need to be very, very clear what is the direction, or rather what is the order of the 7 days in a week, both forward and backwards. Okay, because take a look at this question. Okay, we want to find the days of the week. So if the day after tomorrow, Monday, what is the day 3 days before yesterday? We want to find out the days of the week for the day before yesterday. So for this one, right, usually we also use a timeline, but this time to identify how many days do I need to go forward or backward. So let's draw this timeline first, and then we identify how many days we need to go at which direction. So first, whenever we label a timeline, just like in your age problems, remember, the very important time to put here is now, or in the context of calendar problems, today. Right, so today, we start from today and we find out how many days are there that we are moving. So the question tells me that the day after tomorrow will be Monday. Does that mean that tomorrow will be a Monday? Okay, again, right is for the future, left is for the past. Does that mean that tomorrow is a Monday? No, that says the day after tomorrow, which means one day after tomorrow. So one more day after tomorrow will be a Monday. So day after tomorrow, this will be a Monday. Okay, now take note, we use one day to go to tomorrow and then another day to go back to Monday. Okay, now let's take a look at the question. We know that the day after tomorrow is a Monday. What was the day 3 days before yesterday? So does that mean 3 days ago? Again, read carefully. We are counting 3 days ago from yesterday. So from today, we need to first go one day backward in order to reach yesterday. Right, we go back to yesterday first, and then we say 3 days before. So I need to go another 3 days to reach 3 days before yesterday. All right, so from now, we go back to yesterday first, then only we go 3 more days before that. So this is what we mean by 3 days before yesterday. Okay, so in this case, all right, we know that the day after tomorrow is a Monday. We want to find out 3 days before yesterday, that is over here, what is the day of the week? So how many days do we go at which direction? So from day after to days before yesterday, of course, we are moving backwards, right? We are moving backwards for how many days? We are moving backwards for 1, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 3 equals 6 days. So basically the question is asking 6 days before a Monday, what day is it? So now that we know 6 days before a Monday, let's just count one by one, right? Today is Monday. 6 days before that will be Sunday, Saturday, Friday, Thursday, Wednesday, and Tuesday. Note that I am counting backwards because I want to move on, okay, from the future to the past. So I count backwards. So 6 days before a Monday, as we just counted, it will be a Tuesday. Okay? That's right. So my answer will be a Tuesday. Okay, so with that, remember, use the timeline to find out how many days do I go. Is it going forward or backward? Only after you have made that clear, then you start to count the days one by one. Okay, so with that, that is the second question on finding the days of the week. Now, sometimes the question doesn't give you, a small number like 6 days. It might give you a large number, like say 100 days later. Then how do I know? 100 days later, do I really need to count 100 times? No, okay, we are going to use division with remainder to solve this question, okay? So let's see, starting from Monday, let's say that today is a Monday. The next Monday is how many days later? All right, here's a baby question. How many days later will I see the next Monday? Just now we counted 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, and the next day will be a Monday. So every 7 days later, I will reach the next Monday. So with that, can you tell me 14 days later, what day of the week will it be? Right, it will be Monday. You know why? Because 7 days later is a Monday, another 7 days later, it is a Monday. 14 divided by 7 equals 2. So whenever I say 14 days later, I'm just saying 2 weeks later. Right. So 42 days later, the day of the week will also be a Monday because again, 42 divided by 7 is 6. So that is 6 full weeks. Okay. Now, how about 44 days later? Do you think it will still be a Monday? No, it's not, right? Let's say I have 44 days. 44 divided by 7 equals to 6. Remainder 2. Okay, hopefully you have mastered your division with remainder. Okay, it will be 6 remainder 2. Now, what does the 6 mean here? This 6 means we have 6 full weeks. Just like the 6 before, this means 6 full weeks. Now, after these 6 full weeks, the day will be a Monday, right? But then we still have a remainder 2. This remainder 2 means 2 extra days, right? After the 6 full weeks, we need to go 2 extra days later. And 2 extra days later, it will be a Monday. Then 1 day later is Tuesday. Another day later is Wednesday. So 2 extra days later, it will be a Wednesday, right? So you see, whenever we are not given 4 weeks, we need to use division with remainder to find out how many extra days do we need to move. Okay, and by using the remainder, the extra days, instead of counting 44 times, now you only need to count 2 times, which is much more convenient. Okay, so with that, let's take a look at this question over here. We want to find the days of the week. Okay, I am taking a look at Alice's first day in Caterpillar Club. It was a Tuesday, right? The first day is a Tuesday. Now she wants to throw a party on her 40th day, okay, in the club. Now, if Alice attends the club every day, on which day of the week will the party be? Meaning, okay, I have 40th days, right? 40 days, okay? What is the day of the week of the 40th day? Okay, so with that, we need to first find out how many days later are there. I know 40th day, does it mean 40 days later? Okay, this is a common misconception for students, but let's use a smaller example. Let's say that my first day is a Tuesday. Yeah. Then my second day is a Wednesday. My third day is a Thursday. Is third day 3 days after the first day? No, let's see. From the first day, I go 1 day later, I go 2 days later, and just 2 days later, I reach my third day. So whenever you see an ordinal number, 40th, it doesn't mean 40 days later. It just means from the first day, I count until the number 40. How many days later do I reach day 40? That's right, it will be 39 days later. I need to jump 39 times to reach my 40th day. So it's not 40 days later, but 39 days later. So we know that there are 39 days later. Let's use division, okay, to find out how many full weeks and extra days are there. Now take note, 1 week has 7 days. So we divide 39 by 7. And what do we get here? We get 5 remainder 4. Now, what does the 5 mean here? Like just now, 5 means we have 5 full weeks, and 4 at the remainder means these 4 days are extra. They are not enough to form a full week. They are my extra days. So we need to go through 4 extra days later, okay, to reach our final answer. So with that, we just need to count the days of the week, right? We started from a Tuesday. After 5 full weeks, it will still be a Tuesday. And after 4 extra days later, what will the day be? It will be Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Oops, let's try it again. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So 4 extra days later, we arrive at a Saturday. Okay, we arrive at a Saturday. So with that, the key point here is to use division with remainder to find out how many full weeks and how many extra days are there. And then we only need to count the extra days because a full week later, the day of the week will be the same. The important misconception to clarify here is 40th day doesn't mean 40 days later. Days later means how many jumps do I need to reach that day. Okay, so with that, that is a commonly seen question in P2 SASMO on the days of the week. And now let's go one step further. Instead of looking at the week, we look at a month. So how many days are there in a month? Okay, hey, how many days are there in a month? Is it 30? Is it 39? But wait, what about February, right? So actually, it depends. Right, some months have more days, some months have less days. So how do we find out each month has how many days? We can use our knuckle trick to determine the number of days per month. So to do that, you just hold both of your knuckles together, right? And then you start counting from the first knuckle on your far left. Whenever you touch a bone, then you know that month has 31 days. Whenever you touch something like a hole, okay, or something that goes downwards, you know that, hey, it has less than 31 days. Okay, so over here, you can go January, March, May, July, August, October, and December will all have 31 days. Okay, in the remaining months, okay, for example, April, June, September, and November, they will have 30 days. The only special month here is February, which is just nice, the month that we are in now, okay? So February, there are 2 cases. Whenever it is a common year, like this year, it will have only 28 days in the month. However, when it is a leap year, then it will have 29 days. A leap year, okay, to put it simply, it is that if the year is divisible by 4, if it is a multiple of 4, then it is a leap year. For example, last year, 2024 is a leap year. So February has 29 days. But the common year is 2025, for example. February will only have 28 days. Okay, so hopefully we are clarifying well enough about this. With that, let's have another warm-up. Okay, how would you count the number of days? So, for example, in this picture over here, how many cats are there from cat 3 to cat 7? I have the cats numbered one by one, right? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You know that there are 5 cats. But wait a second. isn't 7 minus 3 equals to 4? Right, why do we have 5 cats instead? Isn't it 7 minus 3? So here's a little animation to show what actually happens. So let's say that I started labeling the cats from 1 instead. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7 cats. Now I'm going to minus 3. So by minus 3, I know that I don't want to keep cat 1, so it goes away. Cat 2, I also don't want it, so it goes away. Currently, I have minus 2 cats. Let me take away one more cat. Ah, I have minus 3 already. But wait, is this cat 3 to cat 7? No, because I started from cat 4 now, and cat 3 is missing. But I want cat 3 to be included, so that means I need to invite cat 3 back into the queue. So actually, it is not just 7 minus 3, but 7 minus 3 plus 1 equals to 5. That's right, n minus that, but don't forget to invite back the starting cat. So you have 5 instead, you have plus 1 at the end, all right? Especially students in CO classes, remember the formula, n minus start plus 1. If we are counting cats or days, okay, within a single month, that doesn't start from 1. So how many days are there from 3rd August to 7th August in the same year? Simple. It's just same as cat 3 to cat 7. We just use end minus start. But then remember, plus 1. Okay, remember to plus 1. So that will be 7 minus 3 plus 1, 5 days. All right, so we have 5 days in total. So with this, we are now well equipped to find the days of a week across different months. So we see that April 14, 2017 is a Friday. Okay, then which day of the week is May 1, 2017? Oh no, this time we are moving on from April to May. We are going across months. Can we just say, oh, I know 14 minus 1 plus 1, and minus that plus 1, right? No, okay? Sometimes the question might give you 2 dates, the ending and the starting date, that are across different months. If that's the case, we will need to consider the days month by month, separate by the months and consider them. So first question is the same. How many days later is May 1st, 2017? Like I said, we cannot just use n minus that plus 1 because we are going across different months. So we need to consider April and May separately. So let's consider April first. But wait, we are looking at days later. Should I start counting from April 14 or April 15 if I'm talking about days later? Okay, some of you might say, I know I start from April 14 because you give me April 14, but we are looking at days later. Can I say that April 14 is later than April 14? Right, can I say that? No, it doesn't make sense, right? Today is today. A day later must be the next day. So actually, the first day later is April 15. Right, April 15 is the first day later to consider. So when I consider the days later, I actually consider from 15th April to the last day of April. And here comes your knuckle trick, right? How many days do I have in April? Right, let's do it together. We have January, February, March, April. Oh, April is not touching the bone. So we know April has only 30 days. It's not February, so it has 30 days. So we consider from April 15th to April 30th, right? Okay, so with that, 15th to 30th, how many days are there? There are 30 minus 15, but don't forget to plus 1, right? From 15 to 30, it's 30 minus 15 plus 1. Don't forget n minus that plus 1. Okay, with that, we get how many days? 16 days. Okay, so can I just say it's 16 days later? Please don't, right? Because we still have May 1st, right? May 1st also comes later, right? We need one more day later to reach May 1st. That's why in total, it's not 16 days later, but actually 17 days later. That is 16 days for April and one more day to reach May. All right, so 17 days later, what day of the week is it? So we just divide by 7. 17 divided by 7 is 2 remainder 3. Again, what does 2 and 3 mean here? Okay, this is very important. Okay, we need to understand what 2 and 3 means here. 2 means 2 full weeks, right? 2 full weeks later. And 3 means even after I consider the 2 full weeks, I still have 3 extra days later. Okay, so after 2 full weeks, we still reach Friday, but then I have 3 extra days later to consider. So what day is it 3 days later? We just count the days of the week to find out, right? We are at Friday now, so 1 day later is Saturday. 2 days later is Sunday, and 3 days later is Monday. Right, so look, I don't need to count 17 times. I only need to count 3 times. So by counting 3 days later, we know that, okay, it is a Monday. All right, so over here, we found our answer. The key thing here is, how do you find the number of days later if the dates given to you span across different months? We just separate it, okay, and then consider month by month. Also, do take note, the first day later, the first day that we consider is the next day, not today. Okay, so for example, April 14th, then we start considering from April 15th. All right, so that is our question on months and weeks. Okay, now before I end off today's session, let's have a little weirder question over here. So here the question tells you the month of December of a certain year. Okay, if I am not mistaken, this is in the advanced section of your all-in-one guide. Okay, the month of the December of a certain calendar year has 5 Saturdays and 4 Sundays exactly. What day does the first day of the December fall in? Okay, what day of the week does it fall in? So whenever it gives you questions like, oh, I have how many Saturdays, how many Sundays, we need to draw out the calendar. Okay, this is a little sneaky trick that I want to share with you for those who are patient enough to wait here. Okay, so let's draw out the calendar first. How do we draw it out? First, we find out the number of days. Here we are talking about December, right? The month of December. So how many days are there in December? Can you answer me? How many days are there in December? The last month of the year, okay, before January 1st, it is December 31st. So there are actually 31 days in December. Okay, so with that, we want to draw out the calendar and fill in 4 full weeks. Do you know why I need to fill in 4 full weeks first? That's because regardless whether your month has 28, 29, 30, or 31 days, it will have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 full weeks regardless. Okay, a month has at least 28 days. 28 days is just 4 full weeks. So we have 4 full weeks. Okay, and then, yeah, we are going to, just fill them in 7 days, 7 days, 7 days, 7 days. But am I done? No, because December has 31 days. Okay, I need to still fill in my 3 extra days from the start of the week. Okay, so after the 7 days, okay, the next 3 more days, right? Because December, 31 minus 28 is 3. So I'll just label 1 more day, 1 more day, 1 more day. Right. So now the question is, how do I know which day should go into which box? Can I just say, I know a week starts from a Monday. Monday is here. No, don't, right? Because the question specifically told you I have 5 Saturdays and 4 Sundays. So using this clue, we need to find out, where do we fill in Saturday and Sunday? Saturday has 5 Saturdays. So can I fill in Saturday here, for example? Definitely not, because from this point onwards, or rather from this point onwards, let me draw it more clearly. From this point onwards, I will have 4 days that has this particular name, right? There are 4 days here, 4 days here, and etc. But I have 5 Saturdays. So that means my Saturday should either be filled in here, here, or here, the first 3 days of the week. Now, my question is, how do I know where to fill in Saturday? Aha, remember, I still have Sundays. I have 4 Sundays. So Sunday must be somewhere on the right of the calendar. Okay, I have 5 Saturdays somewhere on the left, 4 Sundays somewhere on the right. So when you consider Saturday is here, right? For example, can Saturday be here? If Saturday is here, the next day after Saturday is a Sunday. So I put Sunday over here. But does it make sense? No, because here I will have 5 Sundays. So I cannot put Saturday and Sunday here. The only possible position is actually Saturday on the 3rd day of the week and Sunday on the 4th day of the week. Right? Because now I have 5 Saturdays and 4 Sundays. Okay? 5 Saturdays and 4 Sundays if I label them here. So now I just need to find out the first day of the December. What day is it? So we just work backwards. We know that Saturday is the 3rd day. So the second day must be Friday, right? And the, first day must be Thursday. That's right. So we work backwards to fill in the header with all the days of the week, right? Similarly, I can fill in at the back. Oops, I can fill in at the back. It will be a Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Okay, so with that, okay, we found out the first day of the December must fall on Thursday. All right, it must fall on a Thursday. Okay, some of y'all have already given me the answer. Very good. Okay, so by drawing out the calendar, labeling in the full weeks first, and then putting the extra days, you can find out, oh, what is the first day? What is the second day? What is the next day of a month? Okay, so this is a secret trick that I want to share with you. And with that, that is the end of our lesson today. So today we learned about time and calendar problems. For time problems, very important, use a timeline. And if you have more than one part of the duration, work it out for each part first and then add them up. Okay, and when you are finding the days of the week, okay, regardless of how many days later or how many days ago, list out all the days in advance first. Okay, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, list them out in a line at the corner so that when you count later, you won't count wrongly. So it's very important to keep the 7 days of the week in your mind. All right. And when I give you a very large number, 50 days later, 100 days later, don't count one by one. Okay. Rather use division to find the number of full weeks and number of extra days and just count for the extra days. Okay. And don't forget the secret trick that I have taught you earlier. Okay. Whenever they tell you 5 Saturdays, 4 Thursdays, etc., draw out the calendar. Okay. And then fill in the full weeks and extra days. Final step, then only try to fill in the days of the week on top. Okay, so with that, that is the end of today's lesson. Okay, it's very packed with content. If you need more time to review, feel free to watch the playback later. Okay, and yeah, here is our weekly challenge for today. It is taken from our all-in-one guide topic 9. I've picked up 10 questions for you to attempt. So yeah, please complete it by the deadline, which is this Thursday, 9 p.m. and submit your proof on your WhatsApp or WeChat group so that you can earn a star to get a mystery gift at the end. All right, so with that, I will see you next Tuesday again, and I wish you all the best in this week's weekly challenges. Any questions, just raise them up in a group chat and our teachers will talk to you. All right, that's all. Thank you.